Hey, what's going on, guys? Owen here, aka Onoku, and today I'm going to be reading a story written by my friend NateDog22YT. You can't really see the story, but that's intentional. Just just stay in tight. So I guess I'll just start reading. The final days, infection. On the specific night, well, duh. Of course, it's specific. It's Halloween. Anyway, let's get back into the story. Kids are running around and trick or treating in their neighborhoods, playing with their friends like any other kid on Halloween. But at 5 p.m., something happened. This kid, Mark, was in his house playing around with his friend, Samuel. Samuel and Mark fell asleep at 5:12 p.m. because they were so tired. At 5:30 p.m., they got woken up by a loud banging in their house. Mark was the first one to wake up. Then he woke up Samuel. Chapter 1. The Final Halloween Night. Mark and Samuel both ran downstairs to see what was happening, and all they found was Mark's parents, Jaden and Jim, cooking dinner and making popcorn for the movie night. Mark was weirded out, so Samuel and Mark went back upstairs, and they spoke to each other.
That
That can't
that
be
that
right.
can't that can't be right. I heard huge banging sounds, and they're just cooking.
That makes no sense. No sense at all. Mark commented, but but at the same time weirded out.
Yeah, that really doesn't make any sense. I was confused why you woke me up at first, but then I realized why.
Samuel replied. Mom,
Mark, Samuel, dinner is ready.
Jaden calls. Mark and Samuel go downstairs, but find no one in the kitchen. Then they hear Jaden and Jim, this time calling them to come down to the basement. They follow the parents' directions, but they soon realize that they that could have been the worst mistake in human history. Mark and Samuel go down to the basement and find Jaden and Jim standing next to two chairs. Why are those chairs there? Mark asks Jim and Jaden. Jim and Jaden reply, but this time both of them have two voices mixing out of each other.
We prepared food for you. Sit down, and I'll be let out of this for the rest of your life, you little rascal. Hey, Mark?
Yeah? Mark replies.
I think we should run.
Samuel whispers back to Mark. Samuel and Mark run back upstairs with Jaden and Jim are running after them. Go out the front door, yells Mark. And as Samuel and Mark make it out the front door and shut it in time, they go to Samuel's house because it was so close.
Hey, let's go to my house. We should be safe there.
Samuel suggests. Alright, hopefully your parents don't go crazy also, Mark replies. As they walk in the house, they lock the door behind them. They walk around. No speck of Samuel's parents anywhere. They both ask each other,
Where are
where are
they?
they? And they continue looking around the house. They checked every single room in the house except for the basement. They go down in the basement and find two chairs empty and two chairs full. The two chairs that were full had Samuel's parents in them, and it was the same basement that was in Mark's house. Mom, Dad, step away from them, Mark calmly comments. Then Jim and Jaden say the same thing over again. But this time, the two voices mixing over each other turned into one disturbing voice. But this time, after Jaden and Jim yell the same things over again, they yell something different this time. They yell,
Mark, your parents have been fully eaten, and I've been fully. Samuel, say goodbye to your parents also. No!
Samuel yells in sadness. Mark holds him back so that the same thing wouldn't happen to him also. Now this time, Jim, Jaden, Core, and Lorden. Jim and Jaden are Mark's parents. Core and Lorden are Samuel's parents. This time, they all say the same thing over and over again and again and again. Then Mark and Samuel hear the doorbell ring. They knew that the doorbell was the way out of the house, so they run to the door and slam it behind them, locking it, wondering if they would notice. At the front porch, uh, their friend Jordan is sitting on the bench. Jordan asks,
Why are you guys being so weird?
"Because, listen, Samuel's parents and my parents apparently have hypnotized and have been converted into monsters. Listen, we need to go now. We need to go now. It doesn't matter if you're ready. We have to," Mark yells frantically. Mark, Samuel, and Jordan run down to the school that they go to. Nobody is there. They are running down to the playground as they are being chased by their parents. They hide down an event in the school building, hoping that they wouldn't find them.
Okay, what is going on with your parents, Mark and Samuel? Jordan asks.
"I already told you," Mark replies. They go through a vent in the school building and end up in the teacher's lounge. They open the door and search for a phone that they can call 911 on. They find a phone and call 911. "Alright, let's call 911. I don't want to be killed by my own parents." Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Yes,
This is 911. What's your emergency?
"Please help. My own parents are trying to kill me. I think they got hypnotized by someone," Mark yells, pleading into the phone.
Say goodbye to the phone.
It was the same disturbing and distorted voice that Mark and Samuel heard in the basement. "What? No, hello?" Mark confusingly speaks into the phone.
What happened?
Jordan asks. "The phone, I don't know," Mark says again, but more confused than ever. As Mark puts the phone back, they find the nurse's room and decided to see what there is in the room. They found a hiding spot in another vent, but this time it was a lot more quiet. And also, this vent didn't have spider webs. It was a new, clean vent. Mark goes out of the vent for a second and sees his parents walking into the room. He quickly gets back in the vent. "I saw my parents walk in the room," Mark whispers. Then 2 seconds later, Jim pulls Mark out of the vent. But Mark is strong enough to get loose. Then it quickly crawls back in the vent, past Samuel and Jordan. They find out that there's another section to the vent that has been blocked off. Mark, Samuel, and Jordan go into the blocked section and they find themselves a dead end. Samuel decides to go back in the other direction, and if you're reading this to another person or multiple people, scream or yell this. "Ah! Ready. 3, 2, now! Ah!" Samuel's scream attracts the attention of Jordan and Mark, but also Samuel's parents. Mark and Jordan go to check on Samuel. Chapter 2. They're gone.
Where did Samuel go?
Jordan asks. Mark covers his mouth with his hand. "Don't speak," Mark whispers. The reason Mark was doing this is because Samuel's parents were right outside of the vent they were in.
Okay, I see why.
Jordan whispers back. Jordan looks back and Mark isn't there anymore.
Mark?
Suddenly, Samuel's parents grab Jordan and take him to where Samuel is. In the sewers, Mark comes out the vent from the other shortcut and can't find Jordan. He decides to go to the sewers also. Since when would anyone go in the sewers? Ah, bonkers. I'm not supposed to be speaking right now, am I? Nope, I'm not. Pretend that never happened. Anyway, Mark goes into the sewers looking for Samuel and Jordan. He looks through a crack in the sewer and can't find them, but then he finds a lever. Mark pulls the lever and finds a secret door. Mark goes in and finds Samuel and Jordan tied up to the same chairs in the same basement in Mark's house. "Oh my God, are you guys okay?" Mark asks. No response. Mark realizes that they have also been hypnotized and runs out of the room as quickly as he can and gets out of the sewers just before Jim and Jaden caught him. Mark goes to the gym of the school and finds the normal PE equipment. He decides to grab a hockey stick, a scooter, and another hockey stick just in case. Then he goes to the school's office and finds a glass case with the fire extinguisher and an Automag 44 Magnum. Of course, he decides to pick up the fire extinguisher and not the pistol. Chapter 3. The Man. He goes outside and finds a man holding a brainwasher thing, and sees Mark. The man runs after Mark. Mark runs back into the office and uses the fire extinguisher to confuse him of where Mark went. But the man went straight through the smoke and found Mark standing by the glass case. The man runs at Mark. Mark opened the glass case and picked up the gun. He didn't care if it was loaded or not. He just wanted to stay alive. So he pulled the trigger and... boom! A loud bullet sound went off and the bullet fired. The bullet is going at a fast rate, firing at the man's head. The man dodges the bullet and runs after Mark once again. Mark runs into the nurse's office and runs into a vent in the ceiling. He jumps into the vent just in time so that the man can't catch him. Mark sighs in relief. Yell this out loud in 3, 2, 1.
Cluck!
The vent fell open and Mark fell out of the nurse's office and landed outside. The man stepped through the broken window and slowly walked towards Mark. Mark pulls the trigger again, and the bullet flew at a much faster rate and went straight through the man's head. The man collapsed to the floor. 3 seconds later, Mark goes up to the man and sees a name tag. Marcus Lalulis.
Here, I'll just say this. It's called Marcius Lalulis.
Marcius Lalulis. Mark didn't know who that was. He stepped away and went into the cafeteria. Marcius Lalulis walks into the cafeteria behind Mark. Mark turns around and sees Marcius and runs in the direction that Marcius is standing. Mark quickly pulls out the hockey stick and hits Marcius in the head 2 times, quickly knocking him out. Mark continues to run, this time into a first-grade classroom. Marcius walks into the classroom behind Mark. Mark once again swings the hockey stick and hits him in the stomach. Mark swings again, but this time Marcius grabs the hockey stick and throws it across the room. Mark grabs the scooter off his back and rides it into the center room. Marcius still only walked for some reason. Mark shuts the door behind him and turns off the room lights. Marcius walks in. He silently walks around the center of the room, specifically around the table. Mark knew that Marcius knows he was under the table, so when Marcius wasn't looking, Mark bolted to another classroom, then ran outside to only find Jim and Jaden running after him. Mark runs into the playground and finds a hidden door that looks like it's a part of the wall. Mark runs into that room and he finds Jordan and Samuel standing there.
We are sorry, Mark, but Samuel and Jordan have been taken, and soon you will be too.
Mark runs out of that room and finds Jim, Jaden, Samuel's parents, and Marcius surrounding him. Then Samuel and Jordan come out. Marcius injects a virus into Mark. Mark passes out, and when he wakes up in a hospital... Ah! God, it hurts! Mark pulls off the pads attached to him and leaves the hospital room he was in. He was in a city, not just any city, but RC. Mark tries to remember the full name of the city. Re-City? No. Rev City? No, that can't be it. Reeve City? Mark finally stops trying to find out the name. Mark sees Marcius coming towards him. Mark sees a police car. He runs over to the police car and just sat there. He tries to open the door. Nothing. Mark looks through the window and sees a shotgun. He also sees a crowbar on the ground. Mark picks up the crowbar and breaks the police car window. The shotgun is a Winchester Model 37-28 gauge. He picks up the shotgun, and it is as light as a feather to him. He checks it if it's loaded, and it is. He cocks the gun and aims it at Marcius. Marcius disappears, out of plain sight. Mark pulls the shotgun down and walks to the nearest gas station. Nobody. He then walks to 5 hotels. Still nobody at all. Mark then sees Marcius again, this time 15 feet away from him. "Get away from me, freak," Mark yells. Marcius steps forward. "This is your last warning," Mark warns Marcius. The bullets hit him in the jaw, neck 2 times, and another 3 bullets went directly into the brain and completely paralyzed Marcius. He couldn't move anymore. His cold, dead body fell to gross, dirty, wet road. That's enough. To be continued in the final days apocalypse.
I mean, are you not gonna rate it?
Well, alright guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. Sorry for the really bad reading. we didn't really plan this before this, so we didn't know which ones each other were reading.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I guess like and subscribe, and well, peace out.